Greetings aspirants, welcome to Narayana IAS. This is Karthik Moni. I'm here for daily news analysis. We have picked up 7 news articles from Hindu as well as Indian Express. So first article is about the recent India-US strategic agreement, which is ongoing in the 2+2 ministerial dialogue. And then we had an article related to cloud seeding, and then the article related to criminal justice system regarding the current proposed bills, and then we'll be having an article related to recent United States withdrawal from the digital trade discussions, and then an article related to IIP, and then the failure of emergency alert system, and then finally we'll be discussing the vaccine for chikungunya. Coming to the first part of the discussion, we are going to discuss an article related to India-US in the agreements on strategic ties. So that is the article. So exam point of view, it is relevant in terms of 2+2 ministerial dialogue, and then mains point of view, we can expect question related to India-US roadmap for strategic cooperation, and also the India's defense cooperation at the larger point of view also we can expect mains question. This is important because we already had a question in the UPSC examination. In 2020, there was a question related to the significance of Indo-US defense deal over Indo-Russian defense deal. So that was the question asked in 2020. So we are expecting similar question in the upcoming examinations as well. Moving to the context part. So currently, India and US are having executive delegations at the 5th 2+2 ministerial talks. So in this talk, both the nations are trying to further the commitments agreed by the head of both the nations. The Prime Minister Modi and the President Joe Biden agreed for the extension of or furthering the existing defense cooperation. This was happened during the Prime Minister's visit to US in June 2023. So now we are going to discuss what is the platform, what are the basic idea behind the 2+2 ministerial dialogue platform, and also we are going to discuss about some of the basic facts about India-US ministerial dialogue platform, and then we'll discuss the outcomes of recent agreements. So it is the highest level institutional mechanism between India and US. So here the defense and foreign ministers of both the nations tend to participate. So apart from the US, we also had similar dialogue mechanism with Australia, Japan and Russia. So moving to the second part, we have to know the details behind India-US ministerial dialogue. It was started in 2018 during Trump's administration, and here this mechanism is seen as a replacement for strategic and commercial dialogue. So in this platform, we are having discussions between both the nations, and the participants are foreign ministers and the commerce ministers. Here it used to discuss the economical aspirations. So now this 2+2 ministerial dialogue is seen as the replacement of existing strategic and commercial dialogue. So apart from that, this is an annual meeting. So currently in 2023, we are having the 5th ministerial dialogue at New Delhi. So now we have to know the aspirations and areas of interest between both the nations. So overall the discussion went on 2 aspects. One on the aspirations on geopolitics, and then aspirations on defense. So on the aspirations of geopolitics, the discussion was done based on 3 areas. So first thing is having or securing the international peace. Second in securing or ensuring the areas of interest of both the nation, and the final dimension is that the US commitment for India's aspirations. Moving to the first part, the international peace. So ensuring the international peace. Both the nations upheld three principles. First one is rule-based order, and then ensuring the principles of sovereignty, and then ensuring the principle of territorial integrity. So both the nations committed that these principles are very important in ensuring international peace. And also, both the nations gave the statement regarding current Israel-Hamas war. So we want to have a humanitarian truce. Apart from that, we call for the return of hostages taken by the Hamas. And finally, both the nations reiterated the demand for two-nation solution for this ongoing conflict. So this is regarding Israel-Hamas war. And second element is areas of common interest. So we committed for the zero tolerance to the terrorism as well as the territorial aggression. They wanted to relate Israel-Hamas war as an act of terrorism, and they wanted to highlight the China's ongoing territorial aspirations, and they wanted to counter China's aspirations. That's why they included the idea of zero tolerance on territorial aggression. And second idea, they wanted to create free and prosperous Indo-Pacific region, because this region is getting more and more important in terms of strategic point of view as well as economic point of view. So both the nations wanted to promote free, open, prosperous, secure and resilient Indo-Pacific region. Finally, we wanted to strengthen the partnership between India, Japan, US, Australia through Quad cooperation. So these two comes under the international peace. So measures and aspirations on the international peace and the aspirations on areas of common interest. So next we have India's aspiration. So US committed to remove Khalistan separatists based out of US and Canada. So recently we are facing trouble regarding this Khalistan movement, and it affected the India-Canada relationship. So now US committed to pursue to resolve this issue and also to remove the separatism out of United Nations and Canada. So next we have the aspirations on defense. So first idea, both the nations furthered the roadmap of defense industrial cooperation. This was launched in June 2023. That was agreed by President Joe Biden and Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his visit. And in this initiative, we want to promote India as a global defense hub. How we are going to do? By boosting India's defense manufacturing capacities. And also, we want to take efforts to address export control issues. So, first idea, to further the roadmap of defense cooperation between the nations. Second, both the nations wanted to integrate the defense establishment bases. So that's the idea. So integrating industrial bases. So how we are going to do? So first, by creating the ecosystem. That's the first idea. Second, by creating resilient supply chain system. For the ecosystem development, both the nations reviewed the progress of IndusX. It is nothing but India-US defense acceleration ecosystem. So in this mechanism, they wanted to expand the defense cooperation, not only between the governments and also between the business and academic institutions. That's why we are having a separate platform called India-US Defense Acceleration Ecosystem. Apart from that, in order to build resilient supply chain mechanism, we are having an agreement called Security of Supply Arrangements. So these are the two ideas for the integration of industrial bases. So next we have the aspiration for co-production and also in sharing the cutting edge technology. So first one, agreed for the licensed manufacturing of F414 jet engine in India. So this is going to be the one to power light combat aircraft Mk2. So we are going to develop an engine to power this aircraft, and apart from that we also agreed for the co-production of Striker. So it is nothing but a infantry combat vehicle. And also we agreed for the purchase of high altitude long endurance drones such as 31 MQ-9B unmanned aerial vehicle. So these are the aspirations under integrating industrial bases and in having co-production and sharing cutting edge technology. So apart from that, we also agreed for strengthening the interoperability by increasing the investments in the MRO sector. So by giving increased investments in this sector, India can support US in giving aircraft maintenance and also give mid-voyage repair facility for US vessels. So apart from that, we also reiterated for the maritime security and we widely deliberated on the criticality of safeguarding the vital sea lanes. And finally, US welcomed India's full membership of Combined Maritime Forces. It is nothing but a naval cooperation of 38 nations to ensure the maritime security. So this is the idea. So we furthered the engagement on the aspects of geopolitics and also we furthered the aspirations on the defense cooperation as well. Apart from that, both the nations also wanted to increase its engagement on sectors like the space, semiconductor and also artificial intelligence and also critical minerals and also wanted to expand future logistic and people-to-people ties. Next, we have an article related to the cloud seeding. So this is the article, Seeding Clouds to Clean the Air. Exam point of view, we can expect direct prelims question. So that is possible. We can expect what is meant by cloud seeding, what are the agents. So that is possible. And mains point of view, we can expect question related to the measures to address the problem of pollution. So that is possible. So here we can quote the example of cloud seeding as a temporary measure. So moving to the context, currently the capital territory, the Delhi is facing the problem of high urban pollution. The government is taking active measures to reduce the pollution. So cloud seeding is also one another measure they proposed. So by using this cloud seeding method, they'll create artificial rain to mitigate the problem of air pollution. So this is the context. So exam point of view, we have to know the concepts. So what is mean by cloud seeding? So cloud seeding is nothing but a mechanism or weather modification technique by introducing a new substance. Yes, introducing a new substances into the cloud. Why? To induce rain. So weather modification technique one, how we are doing? By introducing the substance to the clouds. Why? To bring the rainfall. So this is the idea behind the technique. So we have to know the methodologies. So as we already said, they'll add additional nuclei. Why? They want to increase the formation of water droplets. So this will be done either by introducing cloud condensation nuclei or ice nuclei. So cloud condensation nuclei is nothing but a tiny particle such as dust, salt and smoke. Here the objective is to ensure the condensation, water droplet condensation. So here the condensation will happen in the liquid form, whereas in the icy crystals, that is ice nuclei, the condensation will happen in the solid stage. The water molecule tend to froze around the icy nuclei. So that will be there. And apart from that, once this nuclei is introduced, the nuclei will absorb the water droplets and it will grow, and over a period of time it will collide with other water molecules and it induces the rainfall. So that is the working mechanism. So now we have the agents. So silver iodide, potassium iodide, dry ice, propane, calcium carbide, ammonium nitrate and sodium chloride. So generally iodide, silver iodide is used. So the injecting process, there are two processes. One, we can inject the nuclei through aircraft, that is also possible, and also we can inject through ground based generators, that is also possible. So now moving to the methods, we have three different methods. First one is hygroscopic cloud seeding, so in which salt particles are spread into the cloud, whereas in the static cloud seeding, the chemical, the silver iodide is introduced in the cloud, whereas in the dynamic cloud seeding, instead of adding, they'll create some disturbance by using flares or explosives to create the disturbance, to create the updraft of the air mass. So because of this reason, the water droplets will grow and leads to the condensation, and also it leads to the rain. So that will be there. So application point of view, so first thing, from the air pollution point of view, it will wash the pollutants that is there, and also it will reduce the ground level ozone. This is very important. So ground level ozone is a pollutant and it is toxic. So in order to reduce the formation of ground level ozone, we need more cloud cover. So increasing the cloud cover, we are using this technology. So in this aspect, the cloud cover will block the sunlight from reaching the ground. Thus, it prevents the ozone formation at the ground level. And also we can have the application in agriculture and water resource management. In the agriculture, we can use this technology especially for the drought prone regions to reduce or to improve, to reduce the risk of famine and also to improve the crop yield. Water management, we can increases the water supplies by increasing the rain through the cloud seeding, that is also possible, but it is very short term measure. So this application is, the relevance of this application is comparatively low, right? Apart from that, fog dispersal we can use so that we can improve the visibility and safety of the transportation, and hail suspension is also possible because of the hails, the crops will get damaged. Not only the crops, other physical properties will also get affected, damaged because of this hail. And also now we are trying to modify the cyclone. So disaster management perspective also, we are trying this cloud seeding technology to mitigate the cyclone disaster. Next, we have an article, revamping the criminal justice system to fit the bill. So exam point of view, we can expect question related to the criminal justice system, and also we can expect some analytical question. So how far the current proposal is better than the existing legislation. So that can be a possible question. So moving to the context part, so government introduced 3 bills to replace IPC 1860 and then CRPC 1973 and then Indians Evidence Act 1872. So we will be having Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita Bill to replace IPC, and then Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita Bill to replace CRPC, and then Bharatiya Sakshya Bill to replace Evidence Act. Yes, it is very important, and this current proposal, the bills are under examination with the Parliamentary Standing Committee. So it is very important because it guides the entire criminal justice system in India. So what is meant by criminal justice system? Criminal justice system, it is a system that refers to the set of institutions, processes and law established by the government to enforce and administer the criminal justice. Why we need this system? To maintain the social order, to protect the individual's rights, and to resolve the conflicts through legal means. So objectives for the deterrence point of view, yes, to punish the offender. And second one is retribution point of view. So the punishment should be rational. So the punishment should be fair and it should not be arbitrary. So retribution. And third thing, rehabilitation. Yes, we have to educate, we have to give therapy to the offender to rehabilitate him so that we can reintroduce the offender into the society. So rehabilitation is another objective. And finally, restoration. So we have to restore the damage. So restore the damage caused by the offender. So that is also there. So 4 objectives. So these are the 4 objectives. For that we are having the criminal justice system. So in this article, the author is questioning whether the current bill is adequate enough or whether the current bill includes the concept of moral jurisprudence or not. So that is the discussion. The first aspect, whether it used to have the clarity in segregating the civil and criminal provisions. So answer is no, because in the current bill, in the proposed bill, we also have the civil provisions. For example, the bill retained the maintenance of wife and children after divorce, and also it includes compoundable offence, that is compromisable. So compromisable offences also are included, which means it failed to delineate the civil and criminal provisions. So civil means creating a damage or loss to the individual, whereas criminal laws will regulate the larger offense which affects the society. So this delineation should be there. The clarity is missing in the current proposal. So second thing is that whether it is reformative or punitive. So that should be the question. Yes, there is a mixed idea. So in some cases, the provisions are reformative in nature. In some cases, it is punitive in nature. For example, for the unauthorized lottery offence, like still we are having 6 months imprisonment. So it is not rational, right? So still it retains the punitive provisions in the new bill. Whereas in some cases, the bill proposed the community services, mandatory community services as the punishment for some of the crimes. So this is reformative in nature. So having the mixed idea. So third, it's about whether the age threshold is changed as per the modern norms. Yes, there is a provision in the previous legislation as well. The child should not be punished for the offense because they are not knowing about the gravity of the action. So that's why the children should not be punished. So in the previous case, it was 7. The children aged below 7 should not be punished for the offense as crime. So here we increase the number to 12. But the question is whether it is adequate or not. So that is the question. Yes, it's accepted the model idea of accepted the modern age threshold of defining the child. Yes, it's there, but still inadequate. And fourth thing is gender related offences, whether it updated the gender related offence or not. Yes, to an extent it included the recent modern provisions, but it failed to include the idea of marital rape. So it was proposed by Verma Committee. So Verma Committee wanted to include marital rape as the criminal activity, but that was not included in the current proposal. Whereas on the other hand, the current proposal dropped the problems of adultery and same-sex intercourses. Those provisions was not there in the new bill. In avoiding the overlapping of the with other legislation, so there is a mixed idea. For example, in the Legal Metrology Act 2009, it excludes from IPC in considering the provisions related to the weights and measures. So this was included in the new legislation. Yes, that's there. Whereas in the case of abortion, the new legislation still having the provisions related to the abortion, which means it contravenes with the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, because in this act, some cases of abortion is permitted, but that was not there in the proposed legislation. In having the consistency in awarding the punishment, there is a problem, because there is a possibility of giving range in awarding the punishment. For example, maximum 10 years, which means the judge can award 1 year or also 10 years. So possibility of inconsistency is there. So for example, in the recent bill, they carried the provision that the person cohabits with a woman by falsely convincing her to marry, like we can award punishment of 10 years. So range is there. So which means there is a possibility of inconsistency in giving the punishment. So that is also a problem. And apart from that, in including the Supreme Court's direction, yes, in some cases it included. For example, in codifying the mercy petition, it included the code in the new legislation, whereas it fails to codify the arrest and bail, which was directed by the Supreme Court to the government in the previous years. So that was not there. In maintaining the provisions of public order and the provisions of criminal procedures is one law, yes, it is there. For example, section 144 and the trial procedures. 144 talks about the public order, yes, unlawful assembly, it prevents the unlawful assembly. Whereas trial procedure talks about the criminal prosecution, yes, both the provisions are there in the same bill, so that is there. Coming to the next article, we have the US signals of a huge digital shift. So exam point of view, it is relevant. We have to know the ICT for development, and also we have to know about data colonialism, and also we have to know about WTO's joint statement initiative on e-commerce. So we are expecting questions both prelims as well as mains examination. So moving to the context part, recently the United States withdrawn from the digital trade deliberations, which was happening under World Trade Organization. So this is considered as a significant shift in the digital landscape and the digital deliberations. So before getting into the actual event, we have to know about few things. Let's start with the ICT for development. So ICT for development, information, communication and technologies for development. It is a program. It refers to the use of ICT to promote socio-economic development in various sectors of the society, especially in the developing countries. So it is a program proposed by the developed nations, especially by the United States in 1990s. So what they did, they sent the big tech giant companies from United States to the developing countries. So in the name of affirmative actions. But at the backdrop, they collected the data from the developing nations that end up in the data colonialization. So now, what is meant by data colonialism? So data colonialism is nothing but the practice where powerful entities, often from developed nations or corporations, extract, control, and exploit the data from the individuals or less powerful nations, often without their informed consent or without fair compensation. So this is what we call it as data colonialism. So moving into the event, so in 2019, WTO came up with a joint statement initiative on e-commerce, so in which it called for the nations to have a free cross-border data flow without data localization, without accessing the computing facilities, and without restricting or without having mandatory software source code disclosure. So it called for the new global regulation. But now recently the United States withdrawn. That is in October 2023. So at the backdrop, it is viewed in such a way that it is because of the Chinese role. Because if you are having a free global regulation in which everyone can access or everyone can participate freely in the digital landscape, then it will be a problem for United States. So China can carve its own sphere in the digital space. That will be a competition in terms of strategic aspects as well as in terms of economic aspects for the United States. So that's why it came out of the dialogue which was deliberating the global digital trade regulations. Now the concern is the emergence of digital Cold War like blocks. So there is a possibility that US can carve out its digital blocks on its side, and then China can create its own block in its digital sphere. So there is a possibility of polarization in the digital segment. So that is the problem. So already United States is having two such initiatives: Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity. So that is there, and America's Partnership Economic Prosperity is also there. So these are the two independent initiatives the US is having to influence its followers to have to establish the digital hegemony in its region. So the need of hour is that, so developing countries from the India, the third world nations, have to resist such polarization. So that should be there. So we should not fall under this trap of such polarization. And also, as a responsible player, India have to commit itself to create or to materialize the digital regulations to control the big tech giants. So that is there. But if you are having such regulations, having free flow of information, there is a problem. So there is a possibility of digital divide. By using the undue advantage, the developed nations, the corporations will get more amount of data. This will lead to the creation of digital divide. So that will be there. And exploitation of the individuals will also be there. So often such collection of data is happening without the consent and without due remuneration. So both things are not there. And in this aspect, it is exploiting the individuals, and also it is affecting the privacy concerns. So companies are also having access to personal information. So in this aspect, it is affecting the privacy concerns. So all these three leads to the creation of power imbalances. So accumulation of data on one side will create the power imbalance between developed and developing nations. So because of this reason, because of the asymmetry in the data accumulation, will lead to the, or will affect the local innovation, because the developing nations will be deprived of the data, and because of this reason there is a possibility of deprivation of local innovation. So next we have an article related to index of industrial production. Exam point of view, we can expect prelims related question related to the contribution of core industries. That is index of core industries, that is possible, and also we can expect question related to IIP also. So direct question is possible. Mains examination, we can quote this data to show the industrial growth performance. So this is the context. Recently, the IIP for the month of September was released, and the growth performance is 5.8%. Look at the number for the August. So for the August, we have 10.3%. When compared to the performance of August, the September performance is comparatively low. The reason is that the performance of 9 industries out of 23 components are poor. So that is the reason why we are facing the problem of slowdown in the industrial production. So now we have to know the basic details of IIP. So IIP is nothing but a measure of total performance of the industry as a whole for a specific period of time. So here we are calculating monthly. So how well the factories and industries are performing. So that is the one which we are measuring. So it is released by Central Statistics Office under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So within this index, we have to know one thing, that the 8 core industries are contributing more. Look at the number, it is 40.27%, which means its significance. The significance of core industries, 8 core industries are very high. So that we have to know. So this is the methodology of calculation. The base year is 2011 and 12, and the base year is assigned a value of 100, and suppose a quarter growth is 104, then we'll consider the rate of that particular quarter is 4%. So this is how we used to calculate the IIP value. So now we have to know the industries under ICI. So we have 8 industries. The first we have refinery product industries, then electricity, steel, then coal, then crude oil, then natural gas, then cement and fertilizers. Mostly infrastructure related industries. So here we have also added the weightage. So we can expect question related to the weightage also. So refinery product, the weightage is more, that is 28.04%, whereas fertilizer, the weightage is very low, that is 2.63%. So the reason for the current dip in IIP is that the excess rainfall in September. So because of that, the performance of cement, coal and steel industries were affected, and also the recent dip is because of the weak consumption demand. Look at the number. So the demand is 1% for the durables and 2.7% growth in non-durables. So the demand from the consumers is comparatively low. So because of this weakening of this demand, there is a reduction in the IIP's performance. And finally, there is a lack of performance among few sectors. That is, I already mentioned that. So 9 out of 23 components under the manufacturing segment, there is a lack of output, and because of this reason, the overall number is getting reduced. Next, we have an prelims related topic, emergency alert system. So exam point of view, we can expect questions from National Disaster Management Authority, and also we can expect question from Cell Broadcast Alert System. So that is possible. So moving to the context, recently we experienced a seismic activity near Nepal, and the resultant aftershocks was also experienced in and around Delhi and the surrounding areas. So during that period, the National Disaster Management Authority wanted to test the cell broadcast alert system to send mass alert to the people regarding the earthquake, but it was not functioning properly. So that is the problem. That's why it is in news. So exam point of view, we have to know the system and also we have to know the institutions. Cell broadcast system, it is a technology to deliver emergency alerts and public safety messages to the mobile devices. So unlike the traditional short messages, this system is having the capacity to broadcast messages to all compatible devices within a designated region simultaneously. So at once it can send. So this is the possibility. So apart from that, it can be possible to send informations related to severe weather warnings such as tsunami, flash floods and earthquakes, and also other public safety messages can also be sent, such as evacuation notice and other critical informations can also be possible. So this is about the cell broadcast system or cell broadcast alert system. So there is a possibility that we can expect question, what is with respect to recently cell broadcast system was in news, is related to which technology or related to following things. So such kind of questions is possible. So there is a possibility that we tend to get confused. So institutions, so National Disaster Management Authority, formally it was constituted in 2006 as per the section 3(1) under Disaster Management Act 2005. So Prime Minister is the chairman of this institution. It acts as a coordinating and enforcing body for the implementation of disaster management plans. Apart from that, we are also having another institution called National Disaster Response Force, so constituted under section 44 of the same act, and it is a specialized agency to tackle the natural as well as man-made disasters. As of now, we had 16 battalions stationed across India. Coming to the last part, we have an article related to the vaccine developments for the chikungunya virus. So exam point of view, it is relevant. We can expect prelims question in terms of vaccine and also in terms of the chikungunya disease itself. Already in 2022, we had a question in that they wanted us to write the principle behind the vaccine development. So we also are expecting similar question in the prelims examination. So moving to the context part, recently the United States, the Food and Drug Administration institution had approved the first chikungunya vaccine named Ixchiq. This vaccine was developed by European company called Valneva, and regarding the vaccine, it is approved for the use on the individuals of age above 18, and it is administered as a single dose by injection into the muscle. It also contains live weakened version of the virus. That's why we used to have the symptom of actual virus. Next, we have to know about the virus. It was first identified in Tanzania in 1952. It is primarily transmitted through mosquito bite, especially the Aedes aegyptus and Aedes albopictus. Aedes aegyptus is also responsible for the spread of dengue virus, yellow fever and Zika virus. It is prevalent in tropical and subtropical regions mainly, but nowadays we are experiencing the problem that the geographical spread is little increasing. And apart from that, there is a possibility that this disease can be passed from pregnant woman to their unborn child. And the virus is highly fatal to the newborn children. So moving to the symptoms and the treatment part, we used to have fever, joint pain, and also we used to have rashes, headache and muscle pain. And some of the individuals used to experience prolonged joint pain. So this is also possible. Treatment aspect, we don't have any standard treatments. Currently, we are giving fluid and we are asking the patients to take complete rest, and also we are giving medications just to relieve the problem of pain and fever. Now let's practice some of the prelims question. Consider the following statements. Sri Krishna committee is related to the data protection. Yes, correct. General data protection rules. General data protection rules is a data protection legislation adopted by European Union. So next, the data fiduciary is not clearly defined in the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023. No, it is wrong. It is clearly defined, so it is wrong. The Indian government can breach privacy of an individual if detrimental to the state security, public order and offense prevention. Yes, it is logical, so it is correct. So second statement and third statement are wrong. So option is Delhi, 1 and 4 only. So next question, consider the following statements. So in the index of 8 core industries, arrange the following in the descending order based on the assigned weight. So we know that we have 8 industries, but we didn't know that what are the numbers. So it is not possible to remember all the order. So here there is a clue. So we know that refinery products industry is at the top, it's high. At the bottom we have fertilizer. So is at the 8, is at the bottom. So here look at the answer. So we have coal production, electricity generation, fertilizer production is there. So descending order, high to low. So fertilizer should come last. So 3 should come last. Okay. Yeah. So which of the following is correct? Yes. So 3 is coming here. So option is B. So in some cases, we have to rely on logic rather than numbers. So option is Bombay. With reference to chikungunya, consider the following statements. So it is a virus, yes, primarily transmitted through mosquito bites. Yes, Aedes mosquitoes. Chikungunya can be passed from pregnant women to an unborn child. Yes, it is also correct. Aedes aegypti is known to transmit dengue virus. Yes, correct. Yellow fever virus. Yes. Chikungunya virus. Yes. And Zika virus. So all 3 statements are correct. So option is C. Yes. So next question. With reference to the National Disaster Management Authority, consider the following statements. National Disaster Management Authority is an apex body for disaster management in India. Yes, it is true. It is headed by the Prime Minister of India. Yes, it is also true. So option is C. Yes. So next question. Which of the following are cloud seeding agents? Silver iodide, yes, correct. Potassium iodide, yes. Yes, dry ice, it is also there. Fourth one, sodium bicarbonate. No, sodium bicarbonate is not a cloud seeding agent. So it is wrong. So fifth one, calcium carbide, yes, it is true. Yes. Answer is only 4. Out of 5, 4 is correct. So option is C. Let's try one mains question as well. So this is the question. Discuss whether the recent codes to replace CRPC, IPC and the Evidence Act included the concept of modern jurisprudence. So the question is directly taken from the newspaper. So here is the approach. We'll start with the names of the new bills, that these are the bills is going to replace this legislation, and then we can introduce the idea why we need to include the recent new concepts. Then we can introduce the cases one by one. So in bringing clarity, in avoiding duplication, in including the Supreme Court's direction. Likewise, introduce one by one and then discuss case by case. Give them the idea, okay, this is included, this is not included. And finally, give them the idea with the conclusion that, so these changes, modern interpretations and ideas are very much important because society and social conditions are changing day by day. So in this aspect, we can conclude this question. That's the end of the session. Do like, share and comment the video and don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you all.